G'day and welcome to the Game Day Squad Queensland versus New South Wales preview show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to comment any of your questions below, and throughout the evening the boys will hopefully be able to help you out. Remember, it is our Queensland versus New South Wales competition on the GDS app. It is free to play, and you can jump in and win a share of $5,000 across the whole series. Obviously, the show will give you a bit of insight into a few of the boys' teams and maybe help you out on picking maybe those making those last minute changes. It is the all important decider. We do have the game coming to you live from Suncorp. And joining us today, we have JT, we have Moi Moi, and we have Penrith. Boys, how are we going? JT, what's happening?
Oh, good boys. I feel a little bit outnumbered here, but yeah, up the Blues, eh?
Love that. The only Blues supporter here. Hopefully there are a few more joining in. Moi Moi, how's your day been?
Good, mate. How you doing, Quazzy? G'day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go the Maroons.
Unreal. And Penrith, how you going, mate?
Yeah, it's good to be back, and I get to talk about a game where we're actually going to win. I sort of had to sit here and pump up the tyres of the Blues last time, so I'm much happier this time.
Yeah, with you there.
Definitely. And as you can see, we have 3 Queensland supporters and one Blues supporter. All right, let's jump straight into it. So just like last time, we are going to go position by position, and we're going to give our thoughts, and you'll see that the players that we have selected. So let's jump straight into the first position, which is our hookers. As you can see, there are a couple of similarities there and then one difference. So we'll start off with some of the similarities. So JT, do you want to jump in first and tell everyone about why you've picked Robson?
I just really don't like the split between Hunt and Grant. It comes down to that, and basically only that. And we saw that Grant did get the more minutes last time round, and he only scored 9 points in those efforts. Yes, Watson is cutting into Robson's minutes, but who knows what the sort of game's going to be tonight. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be gritty. They'll be looking for that spark off the bench, so Robson may get a few less minutes, but that also might mean Hunt is in the game more instead of Grant. So I'm just going to go with the player that's outscored the other two, except for when Hunt got the double in game 1. He's not a hooker, but Robson has outscored Grant in both games so far this series.
Yeah, Moi, did you want to add anything onto that around why you've taken Robson as well?
Yeah, JT's pretty spot on there. I think the fact that you've got to pick really between him and Grant sharing minutes with Hunt, and just looking at Grant's stats, he missed 12 tackles in game 2. So really just trying to save a few points there and hope that Robson's tackle efficiency might be a little bit higher. I think JT's spot on as well regarding Connor Watson. He only got 17 minutes in game 1. He shared with Robson, who got the other 63. I don't think Robson will get 63 tonight, but I still think that he'll outscore Harry Grant, maybe just based on those tackle numbers.
Yeah, fair call. And I tend to agree with both of those points, and that's why I've gotten Robson as well. I'm really concerned about those minutes and the effort that Grant might produce. We saw him come on at the end of that first half, and there was a lot happening in that game, and they were down by so many points, and unfortunately, he really did nothing to turn it around, or I don't really believe he did too much to turn it around from a GDS point of view. So that's why I'm sticking with Robson as well. But Penrith, you're picking a bit of a pod, so you've got a bit of a right of reply here. Why are you picking Harry Grant?
Well, I'd love to hear this. I just want to butt in here for a second, just because this man right here in front of everyone is sitting at the top of the table. So maybe take note, people.
Yeah, look, there's a bit of suspense around my answer here. There's a little asterisk. So my friend's uncle's cousin's wife reckons Harry Grant might get a late promotion to the starting team. That is where I would be playing Grant. To be honest, if he stays on the bench, I'll be going Robson as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, hopefully we all get that late change with enough time to be able to make that move. And I probably, if that does happen, I might be looking at making that change as well. But I don't know, Ben Hunt, I'm wearing the Go Dozer jersey, so I think I've got to stick with him.
So, hey, Penrith, if Harry Grant does start, what role do you see him playing then, and how are they going to use Hunt and of course, Alan Ponga?
Yeah, I think if he starts, I just think he's going to get reasonable minutes, probably only 50, 60. I think the game is going to have a very different flow from the outset. I think maybe Watson was left on the pine because things were going well for New South Wales. So it's not so much the, I suppose, that Grant's going to score 5 tries or anything like that. I just think it's going to be a lot closer. I think Robson's going to take a hit, and I think Watson's going to get bigger minutes as New South Wales try and get back into the arm wrestle. And if Grant starts, I just think it's a nice little point of difference. It's splitting hairs, really, but I just think Robson will get less minutes. Grant maybe more if he starts, but otherwise I'll be going Robson.
Yeah, sweet as.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, there's our hookers. Hopefully that gave you a bit of help making those last minute changes. Let's jump into our middles. And if we have a look at our middles here, we all have Haas, Carrigan, Cotter, Yeo, and Murray. So there's not a lot of contention. There's not a lot of conversation to be had between us. But let's start with some of the reasons why we've picked Cotter. We'll start with Moi Moi. What's the key for Cotter tonight?
Cotter and Carrigan are probably similar reasons. They obviously play a heap of minutes, between 60 and 80. But the fact that Queensland have gone with those 2 smaller forwards on the bench in Hunt and Kalen Ponga means there's probably a little bit more time available for those middle forwards. Cotter's played plenty of 80-minute games, as recently as last year. So he's got that motor to go that long. We know that Carrigan can as well. So I think it's a no-brainer to lock those 2 boys in, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him stay on that field for 80, or at least, that 65, 70 that we've seen them.
Yeah, definitely. I tend to agree, and that's why I've gone those 2 as well. Penrith, talk to me about Haas and Murray, and we'll get to Yeo at the end because obviously there's a couple of options there. So why have you gone Haas and Murray, Penrith?
Yeah, I think just good points per minute output, no matter where they're sort of playing or who for, and they're going to get decent minutes. I just think they're probably the middle forwards is where you can sort of lay up a little bit. I think there's some, like if you took on someone like Yeo or something like that, you could, especially someone like Barnett that circumstantially could get some big minutes. But if you're playing it safe in the middles, it just allows you to have a bit more fun elsewhere. And I think that's, Haas and Murray are very safe.
Yeah.
Boring, but safe.
And I think that sums up probably our middles quite well. Boring but safe. I don't think we've really taken any risks, and I probably wouldn't expect many teams or many squads to take the risk in your middles and maybe take a couple of risks elsewhere and pot up elsewhere. JT, why have you gone Yeo over, as Penrith said, someone like Barnett?
It was a coin flip, really. I was actually considering Liam Martin a little bit in that spot, then dug into a little bit, and I still see he only scored that 38 points that included a try in game 2. So the base stats, even over the 80 minutes, just isn't there if you're playing Yeo off the bench and not starting. So you do have the flexibility in GDS to either play hooker or edge forward in that position as well. So an interesting spot would be, even if Grant was to be named to start, Robson maybe go over someone like Yeo. I just don't think the likes of Watson, Leniu will get enough minutes, neither Fotuaika. But Leniu, he has actually been performing really, really well off the bench, but he just doesn't get enough minutes. He's that high-impact player, gets the Blues going forward. It's just, great points per minute, but just not enough minutes. So, for this, I've just gone for the safe and steady, just because he can do it on base stats when I believe other players will need it bigger minutes, like a starting Harry Grant gig or a try to boost their scores. And I think Yeo is just the safe play
here. Yeah, I was the same. I've got a bit of a coin flip between Yeo and Barnett, but I will probably go with Yeo. As a Warriors fan, I'm loving what Barnett's been doing the last couple of weeks. And round 18, he was unreal. 56 tackles, 220 odd meters, couple of tackle breaks within that, and then 5 offloads as well. He's obviously not going to get that probably time on the field, well, potentially not that time on the field to be able to accumulate those kind of stats for GDS. But I really like his potential and what he's bringing into the game, and I think he could be dangerous. But you're right. I would suggest Yeo probably gets more minutes off the bench, and Barnett might come on later on. So it'll be interesting to see how that rotation goes.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like Watson, like you guys alluded to earlier, I think he will get more minutes. So even in saying that, what minutes does that leave over for Barnett at the same time? I think Yeo's going to get the standard minutes he has been getting off the bench. And yeah, I still think he's going to outskill Barnett if Barnett doesn't get a try.
Yeah. Look, I sat here 3 weeks ago saying that Isaiah Yeo was a bit of a plotter and he didn't have much of a ceiling, and I played Connor Watson over him, and Watson only got 17 minutes for 17 points or something like that. I thought he'd be used a little bit more, or maybe even in the middle a bit. So the thinking was there, but yeah, if I had a bronze Barnett, I'd probably end up playing him. So if anyone's listening, quickly go type in Moi Moi on the Discord and flick me a message, and I'll give you something nice for a bronze Barnett. But look, the Blues started with Hudson Young and Homole in game 1. They then dropped Young and just had Homole, dropped him after game 2. So now they've got Barnett, who's that really versatile middle and edge player. So I can see him getting on the field pretty early, and particularly if the Blues showed that they only wanted to play Connor Watson through the middle, at hooker rather than through the middle. So Barnett could even be that first player on, and he could find plenty of minutes. And he's got that work rate that probably has been outdoing Isaiah Yeo in the past, like you alluded to, Quasi, for the Warriors. He just rips in and has a real go. So I know if I had his bronze, I'd probably play him, guys.
What are you offering? Because I do have his bronze, so I'd probably only want to take something red. But
go look at the stream 3 weeks ago, and I did pack a legend. I won't tell you who, but he's a pretty good player, and if you want something red, I'm sure we can sort something out.
All right, done.
I think I got 10 bronze Barnetts, but sorry, mate, I got plans for all of them.
You don't need any more red players either, though, do you?
Yeah.
Can't fit them in.
Which one are you going to play tonight, man?
Love it. All right, we'll jump on into the edges now, and if we have a look at who we've gone, there's a few differences here, so that we've got quite a bit to get through. So we'll kick off with someone that we're all starting, and that is Angus Crichton. Penrith, do you want to kick us off with some of the reasons why you're locking in Big Gus?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily game specific. He's just had the best fantasy output this year out of the edge options. I think I've seen the others have great games, but just not as much fantasy relevance. So, he has a quiet game. He's got a pretty high ceiling, and if he has a quiet game, he's got good base stats. He has a high ceiling if he sort of gets a line break or a try or anything like that as well. So, I think, again, it's probably just he's probably the best fantasy player. Whether he has the best game or not, I expect him to still be close in score to the others.
Yeah, definitely. And what it probably means is that we look at that, and if you want to take that risk and gamble that he's not going to have a good game, then you could definitely pot up somewhere there. But I think most people are in agreement that he has been one of the best edge forwards this season, both at club level and then at Origin as well. So there's an opportunity there for a pod for someone, and maybe that might be a bit of a risk, but they might be rewarded with a bit of a win tonight. Moi, talk us through Jeremiah Nanai. Why are you starting him over maybe potentially Capewell?
I'm starting him for similar reasons to Crichton. I think he's proven to be pretty reliable in terms of fantasy in these previous 2 games. And Billy's obviously trusted him with giving him 80 minutes and giving the other edge back row or a spell. I'm not sure what his plans are with David Fafita. Oh, wait, no, Fafita didn't get picked, did he? What a joke that was. I'm not sure what his plans are.
I'm happy as, man. Keep him on the bench, man. Keep him out of the team.
Yeah, no, not surprised. So I don't know what the plans are for Capewell. Maybe it's just to add a little bit of punch to that defense and look after maybe Dearden inside him. But look, I think Nanai gets trusted with the big minutes. He's a threat in the air off those Cherry Cherry Evans bombs, and he's actually gotten through plenty of work pretty nicely. And I just think he'll put in a decent fantasy score, and I'll just bank those points.
Yep, definitely. Yep. And just like you alluded to before with wanting a Barnett bronze, the reason I've gone Capewell is I don't have a Nanai bronze at the moment. There are some good points around Capewell that I'll talk about, some of the reasons why I think he might score pretty well. But if anyone does have a bronze Nanai that they want to offload, there's an offer there as well that I'm sure I could find something nice for you. If you like gold, I think I have a gold Nanai. So if you want to organise that little trade, please send Quasi a DM on Discord. But in terms of me going with Capewell, I had a bit of a dig around and had a look at a few things. And I guess to back up some of the reasons why he potentially could have a good game. Since 2021 at Origin level, he's averaging about 39.1 GDS points when he's starting on the edge. So he has had a couple of roles at centre, but didn't score as well at centre. He scores a bit better at edge. He had a top score of 56.7, and that included a try assist, a line break, and a line break assist. So he's got that potential. We probably haven't seen it as much this year at the Warriors level, at club level. He's obviously had a few injuries and he's worked his way back into the starting squad. So that's a little bit of concern there potentially. Those minutes might not be there necessarily for him. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But I guess, like you alluded to as well, that, the reasons potentially he was picked over for Fifita, and by the sounds of some of Billy's comments, it's more about his consistency and his defensive work, which doesn't always translate to GDS points. So that's where I'm a bit nervous. So I guess he probably has a safe floor of around 30 to 40 points that I might lock in and take, and then hope that I can pot up and have a bigger score somewhere else. Little bit of confidence coming out of the last Warriors game, though. He did score 60 GDS points, so 34 tackles, 4 tackle breaks, and 120 odd meters. So there's potential there for him to score some decent points. But again, I think his speed, potential in attack, probably not as good as someone like Nanai. Nanai's attacking ability is far greater, and he's got way more upside, as you said, in terms of even on the ground or through the air. I think he's got those opportunities. So yeah, I'm looking for a Nanai. We've got just over an hour. So if anyone's got a Nanai, please help me out. All right. Anything else on the edge forwards, boys?
I just want to touch on the running meters for edge forwards. I've gone and had a look back for the last couple of years, and only on 5 occasions an edge forward has gone over 100 running meters in Origin. And Gus Cronin's done it twice. All the other players here haven't even got close. Well, Capewell hasn't played that much, but I just don't see that many base stats coming through that metric in the edge forward position. It's mainly through tackles, and I couldn't believe it when I actually had a look. Like, Nanai has actually been smashing it. He's had 46 and 48 tackles in the last 2 Origins. Yes, he's had 8 misses and 5 misses respectively, but yeah, I think he's quite comfortable second behind Angus Crichton for this match.
Yeah, love it. All righty, let's move on to the halves. And once again, we'll see in a moment that we have all gone the same. We've all got the same thoughts, but maybe for different reasons potentially. So, JT, do you want to kick us off? We'll start with your man, Mitchell Moses. Why have you maybe picked Moses over Jerome Luai?
I got burnt last time. It's a bit of a regret after having this conversation. I swapped things around, and regrettably so. Thanks, Penrith. I was like, everything made sense. Yeah, but anyways, the past is the past. But it just showed you that he is still the dominant half at this level. Luai has actually, he's been solid enough, but he has been outscored by every half. DCE, Dearden, Moses, Hines in every match. So he hasn't even been one of the top 3 half scorers in a game so far this season. So, going by that, I think Moses is still, well, he wasn't kicking goals game 1, also it was still Lomax, but I think Lomax will still have the duties this time around. Even that being said, Moses does have 4 try assists last time around. He's not going to have that many tonight. I still think he's a safer option than Luai.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And yeah, looking at, those sort of base stats, the run meters, tackles, kick meters between the two, Moses far exceeds Luai in terms of that. Moses' last game, I think, was 43.2 base stats, whereas Luai only had 17 odd. So, you can lock in those base stats, and then he's got that attacking upside, as you said, with the 4 try assists, and Luai didn't have any. Luai's game's so unpredictable, and sometimes he probably doesn't know what he's going to do. So it's quite hard to judge the way that he's going to play. All right. So Moi, you've gone with Dearden as well as everybody else. Give me some reasons why Dearden should have a big game tonight.
Yeah, it just came down to Dearden versus Luai for me. I did play Luai last week as well. We know how well he was doing at Clubland when he was that dominant playmaker. We saw Hines, did well in game 1 in terms of sharing the ball with Luai, but Moses was just that dominant ball player, and it really showed in the scoring disparity in game 2. I think Luai will be a fine pod to play for those people that want to make up a few points, but I'm backing the Maroons to win this match, and because of that, I feel like Dearden will be a little bit more involved in some of those attacking points than Luai. And we said last week, 3 weeks ago, Luai was on that dominant left edge with Latrell in the centre, and that didn't really turn into too many points. Latrell's not there this game, so I'll go back to Dearden and just hope he can get amongst some of those tries or try assists.
Yeah, for sure. And Penrith, anything you want to add about DCE?
He's just been Mr. Consistency, I suppose. Probably going to turn in a man of the match performance tonight. He's just, his form is for the Maroons has really turned around in the last couple of years. And out of all the 26 blokes on the field, he's always the dominant player out there, I find, of recent times. So, and aside from that, I don't know why anyone would play Luai.
It's really rich.
Love it. All right. Well, I guess the only other thing potentially that could be a factor with these halves is obviously their kicking game and the way they go about that. If you aren't in Brisbane at the moment, at the moment it's probably died down a little bit, but there's been quite a strong breeze over the last 2 days. Do we think that's going to have an impact on their games at all? Or do we think that, Moses, DC are just too good for that to be able to make that a factor? Anyone want to jump in?
I reckon it'll affect the game, but don't ask me how.
All right, perfect. Well, let's jump through to the centres then. Once again, I don't know who's going to win out of us because we've all pretty much gone the same way. Our teams are almost identical. We are running Lomax and Holmes in the centres, and off stream, JT and I were having a bit of a chat just before we started, and he thought he was potting up a little bit with Holmes. So, JT, do you want to jump in and start us off with why you thought potentially Holmes was a pod?
Just so many demerits, but in this game we see him playing on the wing, and we've seen that he's a try-scoring beast playing on the wing, especially at Suncorp. I do like Crichton space. He scored anywhere between 28 and 36, 37 points. It's just consistent. He doesn't have those rock-bottom games like Holmes did. He only scored 17 last time round, but that was with Latrell running at him. And on an upside, I don't know if it's going to go well for the Blues tonight, and I think Holmes may have a few more shots at goal. We will see, but you've also got that additional upside being the kicker. In GDS, you get 3 points a goal. So let's just say you got 3 goals. There's 9 points straight off the bat. Where the other centres not selected, do not have that upside to it. So, yeah, I'm still considering going back to Crichton. I just think Best, I'm a little bit nervous of his injury concern that he had earlier in the week. So Yeah, it was either between Crichton and Holmes for me, but Holmes just won out because he's on the wing and goal kicker for Queensland.
Yeah, definitely. And Moy, do you want to jump in here and talk about where you think Holmes might line up on the right or the left?
Yeah, we were having a chat about this yesterday, and I've changed my mind after having a think about it today. We know that Holmes is a natural left-sided player at Clubland, and so is Cobbo. We know that Holmes played on the right when he plays centre. But I think Holmes, well, looking back at game one last year, Holmes was in the centres, but Cobbo played on the right wing with Taulagi on the left wing. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Val Holmes line up on the left wing and Cobbo stay on the right. That could be completely wrong, and it could be the reverse. So when we jump off stream here, I'll probably got to have a look at that pre-game and see if I can get any camera shots of where they're lining up. But I do like the Cobbo on the right wing shout, mostly because he'll be lining up against Brian To'o, and that's definitely a mismatch in the air. We know Lomax is a mismatch, whoever he is up against. So I think if we can put Cobbo up against To'o and Cherry Evans can put a bomb, he's got Nanai coming through, and then also Cobbo, who can use their height to get over the diminutive Brian To'o. So I'm thinking Cobbo on the right, Val on the left, and that's even better for Val if he is on the left, because we know how dominant Walsh is. And then when KP comes on, he'll go down the left a lot, and Hammer's speed is just unreal for his winger on the left. Taulagi scored a big score last match because of that. So Val on the left would just be money.
Yep, for sure. Just on the right and left, I just had a quick look and just ran a couple of averages. We talked about in the first preview that the left side's so dominant, and there's some unreal players on that left side for Queensland. But it actually, the whole left side of Queensland in terms of edge, centre and wing and half, they've actually averaged below the right side. So that across those players, they've only averaged 40.3 GDS points, whereas on the right side, they're averaging 41.4. And it's not a huge difference, but it's just interesting that we continue talking about this dominant left side, but it's pretty evenly spread across both sides of the field for Queensland. So, just something to think about when, you are looking at those sides of the field that at the moment, in terms of Queensland anyway, there's not a huge difference. Just something interesting. All right, so let's have a chat about Lomax, and then we might talk about some of the players that we've left out and maybe some reasons why we've left out. So, Penrith, what are your thoughts around Lomax?
Yeah, Lomax has been their, I suppose, consistent attacking threat if they get field position. So he's always good for a try. Outside of that, though, I'm not sure what he ran for in game 2, but I think he ran for over 200 metres in game 1 and probably something similar in game 2. Just the way Queensland set structures and where they're kicking the ball, it seems to be a lot of run metres for the New South Wales wingers. So I just think he's going to lead all centres in base stats purely from his position on the wing and I suppose his work rate. Plus you throw in an attacking stack there. And I think I don't know the stats, but I assume he's probably been the top scorer in both games for the position, has he?
Yes.
Probably by a fair way too.
Yeah, he has been. Taulagi was second with 50 odd last time around, but quite comfortably, you're right.
Yeah, so he was first in for me.
And on top of that, like we said, he should be kicking goals again. I assume that he didn't put a foot wrong last game, so I'd say he's got that upside. Although JT reckons the Blues aren't going to score many tries, but he's still got the upside. So yeah, if there are a couple of tries, then there's a couple of extra points there. And you're right, he was averaging 170 odd run meters across those 2 games. So he's really dominating that position. So a really good option. All right, let's talk about some of the players that we don't have there, and I'm sure there's some reasons why. JT, why maybe is someone like Best or Gagai potentially not in your calculations?
Gagai is the closest player to my team right now, and that's coming in for Walsh. Just the main reason Walsh has not done it at State of Origin level at all. I'll just bring up his averages real quick for a second. I don't think he scored any more than 29 points in all of his appearances at State of Origin. He just hasn't really featured in front of a full house, and in a decider it might be completely different. But that is the closest call to my starting team right now is Gagai. He just is a tackle busting machine. He's just got a great base. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's not as high as someone like Holmes for sure of missing tackles. He breaks more tackles, and he's been there he scored many tries in Maroon's jersey. Yes, given that was on the wing, but yeah, I think he's very close to pipping any of the players, especially on the bench for anyone's GDS squad, depending on the makeup of the squad of how they want to split their rarities or who they have available. But I think I definitely have Gagai above best.
Yeah. Moi, is there anything else you want to add there around Gagai or best, or even Crichton as well?
Yeah, Gagai. I know South Sydney fans probably wish that Gagai would wear a maroon jersey underneath a Rabbitohs one, when he was playing for them, and then the Knights as well, because he seemed to just grow an arm and a leg when he put on that maroon jersey. We know he won the Wally Lewis medal in 2017 on the wing, which is just unbelievable. But yeah, he'd probably be my next centre in line. I'm only picking 2 centres, and I'm going to load up on fullbacks on the bench. But yeah, his tackle breaking is awesome. We expect Queensland to win again, so he might be amongst some of those tries or try assists. The ball's probably going to go right through quite a lot as well. So I don't know. It's a bit of a flip of the coin, but you probably can't go wrong with either of those centres. I'm just probably looking for the upside with both of those kickers.
Yeah, fair call. What do we reckon about Best potentially lining up against his teammate in Gagai? How do you reckon that might play out? Do you think, Penrith, do you think maybe Gagai might get the best over Best? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm a bit slow to realise, but I mailed it in late and Cal must have already been on the piss. But I actually sent him that I was putting in Gagai over Hammer.
Okay.
So I've already made a swap there, and yeah, I think Gagai might give Best a bit of a bath, to be honest. Yeah. The old dog versus the young bull out of Newcastle, but I just think Queensland will have the upper hand tonight. Cherry will get that right edge ticking. So I've actually gone Gags in over Hammer, but I'm keeping an eye on the Crichton news. If he's a laid out, Hammer probably comes back in for me, and I'm not really sure who makes way there. Maybe, don't know.
Yeah, fair call. And that'll be an interesting matchup for sure. I hope that Gags gets up against and gets Best, but we'll just see what happens. Boys, we've got a question here from Kyle Lomas before we move on. What rarity Lomax would you play? So JT, what do you reckon? What rarity Lomax are you playing?
I've got him in silver at the moment. Just because he's been so good at Origin level. He's been so good for my boys as well in the Rugby. He's the goal kicker. He's got great base stats, picking up was earlier mentioned 170-odd running meters. I just think over other questionable positions, like if you look at hooker, are you going to put a silver in at Grant or Robson? Probably not. I'd rather go with the upside of a Lomax, really. You can also look at maybe a Nanai. The minutes are shared in the middle forward position. Then you look at Cobbo on the wing. That's another option. I was flicking between those two for a little bit, but at the centre position, Lomax would be the silver I'll play at that position.
Yep, definitely. Moi, what do you reckon? Same for you?
Yeah, if you had his Queensland versus New South Wales card, I think that would be a great one to play, given you're getting his diamond points. For the makeup of my squad, going heavy in the forwards, I'm just playing his bronze card. I'm just keeping an eye on team list, actually. I'm reading some unconfirmed reports that Barnett might be starting. Anyone got any updates on that at the moment, now that we're an hour away from kickoff?
That's straight in. If he's in, he's in.
Yeah, that's right. And he might even get a silver rarity. Kyle, mate.
So who was after bronze card again?
Yeah, that was me, JT.
I'll have to go through and figure out which number one I put in. Actually, I think I've got his Origin card.
Mate, that would be handy.
No, it does look like updates are through. What I can see right now, you got, unless this is completely wrong, Wharawake is starting, Kafusi starting, also at prop. The whole front row, Grant, all the interchange is 15, 14, 16, all in. Cotter's gone to the edge, and then I to the bench.
Should we just start again?
Onto the bench.
Yeah, cut
roll
this screen.
backwards.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so
Well,
massive
all right.
changes. And Penrith, you need to make sure you say thank you to your wife's cousin's sister, whoever that was. Mate, they had the mail.
Mate,
So
you're all
some
gonna
huge
look like
changes
idiots.
there, obviously. That's
Wow.
we better wrap this up and start making some changes, I think.
They didn't tell me shit about all the other stuff. Jeez.
No.
Wow. Okay, so
Nanai's out. I don't even know if I want
that's-
to play Cotter
that's-
anymore, to be honest.
that's huge.
Oh.
Okay, well, where do
Wow.
we begin? Let's start with really quickly. Let's go back. Let's start with the prop changes here for Queensland. So Fotowaker's in, Kafusi's in. Is there any chance you play either of those boys now over one of the other potential players? JT, what do you reckon?
Not for me. No, not my cup of tea. I will stick with Connor though, because I'm just looking at what he had on the edge last year. He played on the edge in game 2 last year, and he got 45 points at that position. So it's still pretty solid for an edge position, and he did play the 80 minutes. So yeah, I did have to check that before I made my decision, but yeah, I'll be sticking with what I've got at the moment. Yeah, edge might change, but middle forwards will stay the same for me.
Yeah, perfect. And just to make sure, if you're not all around it, you can jump onto maybe nrl.com.au to check out those changes as well. So there's quite a few changes that have occurred, and you can keep up to date with those changes there. They've got the team lists. Moi, let's jump into the next big change then, I guess. Penrith touched on it. Harry Grant in, Ben Hunt to the bench. Are you going to stick with Robson, or are you going to play Harry Grant now that he's starting?
Yeah, that's all thrown me. I'm going to need a bit of time to process my thoughts. Yeah, I think Harry will probably get the start now, just because he might get the lion's share of those minutes. I don't know what Billy's doing, but he's obviously got a plan in mind. And it could probably go one or two ways. He's either a genius, or it could probably all fall to pieces inside that first 20 minutes.
Let's hope it is the first one of him being a genius. Penrith, time for you to gloat, mate. What are your thoughts around those team changes?
Yeah, well, I guess Harry Grant stays in. I've had a State of Origin Cotter in my team, and I think he's going bronze now. If he stays at all, I don't know. I don't see him playing 80 minutes on the edge, and I don't really know what that's going to look like. Plus, his output's been a bit underwhelming this series. So Cotter might actually get the cut for me over someone who might be more of a big minutes edge, but I have no idea who that is now with Nanai on the bench. Yeah, Harry Grant's in, and definitely the rarity will come off Cotter. And going back to that question from Kyle, I think I played a State of Origin Lomax in the first 2 games. So I wasn't going to for the first time tonight, but I think I will now. Shout out to Let's Trot for putting it up for unders on the TM.
Nice. And yeah, just on that, I guess the tough thing is to balance the rarities across your team. You're always looking to get as many points as possible with your higher rarities. So it's obviously it all comes down to the makeup of your team and the cards that you have. So definitely, if you're looking for a last-minute State of Origin card or a last-minute silver for one of your players, jump onto that Discord, the GDS Discord, and put a comment in, and then hopefully someone can help you out. one of those trades. All right, let's continue so that, like you said, we can process and make some final decisions. We'll jump straight into the wingers and we'll zip through these pretty quick. We have gone To'o and Cobbo. So JT, do you want to just kick us off with some of the reasons why you've gone these two?
Well, Madge and Billy hasn't really done us any favours, to be honest, as they're playing both Lomax and Val, who have both got a centre position designation in GDS. They're both playing on the wing, so we are only left with the two options. So it's pretty clear cut just because what the coaches have decided to do. So, yeah, just got to fill the spots and move forward, really, in my opinion. And, yeah, that's all we can do as coaches.
And this is probably a good talking point as well in terms of your rarities, because it's the only two players. Do you look at maybe Moi, do you look at potentially playing a higher rarity here as a potential pod because, those are the only two options really?
Yeah, spot on. I've got that Brian To'o Queensland versus New South Wales card, and he's really reliable with his meters. Out of his own end, he breaks plenty of tackles, and he's on the end of a pretty decent backline as well. He scored 2 tries last game. I can see him scoring again. I've got that Queensland versus New South Wales card. I think a lot of people will just plug in the 2 bronzes here, so it is a good way to pot up, and hope that he can get plenty of meters in a losing side.
Yep. Yeah, perfect. And anything else you want to add there, Penrith, on these two players?
I think they're good options outside of the forwards to put a bit of. To'o is a good option to put a bit of rarity on. Cobbo's got a bit of X factor. Probably tread with a bit more caution. I'm pretty convinced he'll be on the right wing. That's where he played last year for the Broncos as well, and Holmes has spent a lot of time on the left. So depends which way that you think the ball's going to go. But no real scope for pods here.
Yeah. And I think I'll be following and putting a bit of rarity into To'o as well, because we know his base is unreal and he's got that attacking upside. All right, the last big one is our fullbacks, and we've got some change or some difference here as well. So we'll kick off with Penrith, and we'll talk us through just some of the ones that we've got here in terms of Edwards and Hammer. Why have you picked maybe Hammer and Edwards over someone else on the bench like Gags or Best or one of the other centres?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, I've actually got Hammer out now, so I've kind of got Gagai in. I was kind of hanging out for that news. I thought Crichton might have been underdone, in which case I was even considering maybe turfing Edwards, because I think that would have changed the whole complexion of the game. If I wasn't sitting out in front, I would be leaving Walsh out. I think if you're going to pod, he's a guy you can take on. What's his output been, like single figures and then 30? We know he's better than that, but last year's grand final, previous state of origin, he hasn't really produced it on the big stage, and I'm sure he will one day. It's just whether he will today. So I think that's a guy that most people are going to have in, but you could really build an argument to take on. Ponga's an interesting one. All he needs is game time, and he's in most people's teams, but you'd have to be taking a big risk there.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll get to Ponga in a moment. Then obviously you can see Moi has gone with Ponga. But before we get to there, JT, would you like to say anything else add to what Penrith was saying about the 3 that you've chosen?
Yeah, like I alluded to earlier, Walsh is still on the chopping block for me, and it just goes back to his form and his scores when he has played the 80 minutes at origin level. He had 17 in game 1 last year, 30 points in game 2 last year, and only 13 points in game 2 this season. So it's not really pretty reading. So it depends on every coach's narrative on this game of how they think it's going to go. Queensland have won, Queensland have lost, and he still hasn't scored all that great. So he's the biggest question mark for me over there, and I wouldn't argue with any coach that decides to bring in a more experienced campaigner in the likes of Gagai to replace him. So, and I might still do that myself. But I think Edwards, definitely number 1. Hammer, he's scored a try in every game that he's played at origin level. I think he's got 9 tries in 6 games. Can he get another one tonight? Hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does either. So, I'm still wrapping my head around these changes. Just figuring out what I'm going to do.
It definitely is live, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, then we've already teased a little bit more. You are clearly the outlier here. You have gone Ponga. Give us some of the reasons why. Obviously, you know something more than the rest of us do.
No, not really, mate. Just looking at that scoreboard, seeing I'm about 50 points behind this bloke over here called Penrith. So I'm looking for something to try to turn the tables a little bit. We know that Walsh has been, below average, below par. And I think if I leave him out and Queensland Queensland have a big win, he's probably going to be amongst it. So I'll be fine with that. But look, we go back to 2018, game 2. Billy Slater was the Queensland fullback, and a 20-year-old made his debut in the 28th minute. Who was that? That was Kalen Ponga. He came off the bench and played out the rest of that match. And he actually outscored Billy Slater in terms of fantasy points. So Billy knows how to work that two-headed monster in terms of two fullbacks. I can see Ponga playing plenty of time through the middle. He'll probably, scoot from dummy half. He'll sweep both sides of the field. And he's probably just got that slightly calmer head than Walsh does. And we know Walsh can make plenty of errors. He can lose plenty of points that way. And there's probably so much upside with Ponga. It just really comes down to his minutes and chasing the top of the leaderboard. I'm pretty game to take on that gamble.
Yep, definitely. Well, we'll be watching the battle then between Walsh and Ponga for sure to see who ends up on top of the GDS leaderboard. Obviously, remember, it is not only about the overall competition. You can still win plenty of cash and prizes for this game tonight. So if you haven't already, make sure you jump on and get your team sorted. Obviously, as we've said, there are quite a few changes. So you still have plenty of time, and especially against the four of us who are a little bit rattled right now, you might be able to find an edge. All right, next up, we've got a few questions that we are going to fire through. So really quickly, you're going to give me your answer, and we'll go JT, Moi, and then Penrith really quick. Firstly, who will top all fantasy scorers tonight? Who is our top fantasy scorer? JT?
Dylan Edwards.
Moi.
Payne Haas.
And Penrith?
Oh, Payne Haas got stolen. I'm going to go left field. Val Holmes, hat trick.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, I like it. And I'm going to go DCE. I want him to have a massive game, so he will need some points. All right, next question. What player brings the most X factor to game 3? JT?
He's a bench player. Ponga. I don't know how he's going to be used. I just think, he's, as a Blues fan, there's warning signs all over him. So Ponga for me.
Moi.
Ponga.
Penrith.
Hard to go past Ponga. Like he's going to see the field at some point, and I'm just excited to see what happens when he does.
Yeah, and I agree. It is Ponga, so all four of us think he has the best X factor. All right, and the last question, it is the decider. So what are our score predictions for tonight's game, JT?
Head's telling me 22-16 Maroons.
I like it. Moi.
Maroons 24-20.
Ooh, close. And Penrith, what do you reckon?
Maroons 54-8.
Gee, up right there.
And I'm going Maroons 32-12. All right, unreal. Thanks, boys. We've got one more little surprise for everyone. We have a bit of a game to play with you. The way this game works is we're going to click over in a moment, and you are going to have an option. You can either pick the player, that player card, as your prize, or you can open a pack, and the pack is a 3-player unique pack. So the first one that we've got coming up here in a moment, we're going to see, and it is Moi first up. You have got a Tino Queensland versus New South Wales card from 2023. So you could take the card, or you can open the pack and risk it all. What would you like to do?
Ooh, this is a tough one. How long have I got? Am I on the clock?
Yeah, you're on the clock. The game starts in 40 minutes.
Oh, mate, apart from the stream 3 weeks ago, my pack luck has been horrendous. I'm going to take the Tino. I don't have his Queensland versus New South Wales card. He's injured, obviously, this year. He's young. He's unreal in that Maroons forward pack. So that I'm looking long term. I'm looking for the future, and yeah, I'll pick Tino. Thanks.
Okay, all right, lock it in. Tino is yours. All right, next up. Oh, okay, JT, you've got the Tedesco Queensland versus New South Wales card, maybe playing to your heartstrings there a little bit, or you can take the three-player unique.
Yeah, is that both cards?
How good is that?
Sure.
Two Tedesco.
Maybe he gets to choose. No, he gets the two cards. There you go. He gets the two cards. Wow, that's massive.
What a stitch up.
That is a spot. Unfortunately, he has been dropped as the Blues captain, but he is still a gun. Like he's still, I think he's ranked as the second best fullback in the game at the moment. So, as I get two of them, I'll go Teddy.
Wow,
that's a point two for point one in Capital Challenger or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, these cards can fit in any different comp as well. So, and who knows, next season he might be back on the side. Can't really see it with them moving to Edwards under a new coach. But hey, dreams are free.
Mate, if Edwards has a horrible game tonight, you never know. You never know.
These price. Am I going to get offered like 3 Payne Hasses here, or what's the go?
Alrighty, well, let's see. Interesting. Okay, you've got a Crichton Queensland versus New South Wales 2023 card, or are you going to take the pack, Penrith?
Probably didn't matter what you're offering me. I'm checking the pack out.
All right, we are going to open the pack.
Yeah,
we will open the pack at the end, so we'll jump through to mine and then we'll open our packs. Oh, yeah, I like to gamble quite a bit. I like taking the risk, and I think I have a bit of FOMO from Moi Moi's pack from 3 weeks ago, so I will be opening the unique pack as well. Thank you very much for that. All right, let's open these packs and see what we got. Hey,
oh, it's unique. I didn't even see that.
All right, Penrith first. Here we go. All right, not a good start, but let's bring it home here.
Well, that's great. I actually don't have any of them.
Well, there you go. Perfect. The pack gods have fallen your way.
Yeah, who are you starting this week?
Love it.
Jennings.
Alrighty, let's
Jennings,
open
absolutely.
one for me. Okay. All right. Well, Tyson Smoothie, he will be useful. I've got the others, I think. So, but that's all right. That's the game we play. Obviously, by my reaction and Penrith's reaction, and the boys, we probably should have gone with the cards, but that's all right. That's the fun of the packs there.
I just have one of JT's Tedesco's.
I was going to say, like, imagine if we get another legend like we did last week or a few weeks ago.
Yeah. that will never happen again, surely.
No.
Alrighty, just before we wrap up, Marlene's got a question here for us. Who is scoring the first try tonight in State of Origin Rugby League game? JT, who's got the first try for you?
Holmes for me on the one.
Love it. Moi, what do you reckon?
Marlene, you seem like a big footy fan. I'm going to tip you into Mo Fodawaker.
Love it. Get on quick before the bookies change that price. And Penrith, what do you reckon?
Yes, Beanie. Or I think probably Val Holmes, and he might get the second one too. So have a lash.
Yeah, I think you said a hat trick, didn't you, before? So let's maybe load up on the hat trick. What do you reckon?
Maybe first, second, and last try.
I love it. Alrighty, boys. Well, that is our Queensland versus New South Wales preview show. Thank you very much, boys, for jumping on and giving us some insight into your teams. I know it's not easy sharing your deep dark secrets and some of the reasons why you're potentially top of the table. So thank you very much for that, boys. Thank you everyone for tuning in and for commenting along. Hopefully we gave you some help with your last minute decisions. As we obviously saw, there's quite a few changes, so we've got to jump off and start making some decisions about who we're bringing in and who we're dropping. Don't forget, there's still plenty of time, so jump on, log into the app. Make sure you jump on Discord if you want to make any trades. Good luck. Go the Maroons.
Up the blue.